Okay, here we are for game number 4. Basically on Dark, Creep on the Borderlands. It's interesting, I saw in an old Myth World Cup, somebody actually already did this on a mesh that included Mercs and I believe Warlocks, which was pretty interesting. I think it would play out a little bit better for Terry's on this. But, just thought that was cool. But on this mesh, we've got Zerks and Fetch. So it looks a lot like Keep or Care. Or any of those, even Barb Valley to an extent, where you've got a bunch of fetch and trow. So typically in these maps, it will come down to a trow fetch fight, where a trow takes an engagement, even if they've got a bunch of Zerks backing it up. And, on the other team side, the fetch battle is going to decide who's going to win or lose. So with that babbling, you see the trades. So you've got 3 trow over to Karma. You can tell from the splits, Name Changers is not doing that. Many people are saying that Lemp and Shyster talked and concluded in private that Genghis couldn't take another beating like he got in 2010 and said, look, we're going to protect him. We're not going to risk it. We're going to split our trow. When asked for comment, Genghis said that I was an obsessed scrub still living in the past 10 years later. And I can only disagree with half that statement, honestly. So here, mini little mind game. Try to wait to show just a sec. Genghis pushes and sees. But you can basically see a flank here. You've got Blade over with 13% versus Asmodean, who's got 16%. One of those, obviously, big components being a trow. Here you've got a massive spider pack with HMP and some Zerks. It's being matched by ours. Ours has got 12% versus HMP's 11. And then you've got a huge standoff mid. So our souls were originally going to come here and contest this side of the water. But, with this trow, we made the decision to kind of pull everything back. At this, you can see Thierry saying mid is horrible. We need to think about splits. Honestly, this whole game was a state of confusion, I think, from the Mysteryman side, just determining how to adapt. What we end up doing is first posturing, as we're going to send the trow, eventually giving one over to Blade. So now Blade's got 16%, which is basically still slightly behind Asmo, but not a ton. The trow pressure some souls here, but there's nothing that's really going to happen. Over here on the northern side, this is just a total camp off between ours and HMP. This is flankable apparently with spiders, but it doesn't look like either team has done that. Fast forwarding, because this was a terribly boring game. We eventually moved some morts over to kind of shoot. I think Mysteryman did correctly surmise looking at chat that there was a potential white, which is here. Could potentially have a big impact. But for now, both teams are content to just sit. Right now, it's 4 flags to 3. Obviously, Mysteryman having a flag advantage. But at this point, all that it would take is a successful mid push to take this flag if it were to stay as is for this game to be even. Continue to fast forward. Literally nothing happening over on the west. Ours did scout to see if they'd stuck anything by. They hadn't. We now have Spoon joining Blade briefly to where we have our souls on this side as well. So we could try to contest this, but we just don't. I think probably a mistake. Seeker has too many souls. Should probably be split more with Spoon. And then Seeker doesn't really want to fight this. So he's playing very passive. Eastwind does have a Mort, which is one of those reasons why. But I think our souls here, just not that effective. Don't blame Seeker. There's no feedback in game. So it's not as if he was going to magically know that. Unlike Kruniak, Genghis and Karma actually know how to trow, so we're not taking 100,000 fetch shots for absolutely no reason. So it's pretty passive. Fast forwarding a bit, again, same thing. Thierry mentioning we're really not in a good position to push just because their souls have priority here. He is giving some direction to Seeker, trying to go west, which Seeker definitely does. That doesn't really help us much just because this is a total stalemate. So we're down to 3 minutes. And at this point, really the contest comes down to will either flank, so it's this flag versus this flag, will either flank be able to steal a flag, H&P versus ours, or Blade versus Asmo. Because if they're able to steal a flank flag, they no longer need mid. So at this point, for Mystery Men, they're saying, look, we're either we're going to win both the mid flight and be able to hold our east flag is basically the bet. As we're getting closer, here it is. I think this is probably the engagement of the match. You've got pretty even percentages from Blade and Asmo. Blade unfortunately traps his own trow, which happens. And really, honestly, nothing else that happens in the game from there matters much. They did have a spider pack that flanked in and was in a position to take this flag. We did see it and had actually sent some melee back to defend it. So we're able to re-secure this. LSO, unfortunately, was not paying attention, did take some free damage, but wasn't going to lose that. So end of the day, their mid can just back off. There's really nothing for ours to do. Hindsight, a couple things. I think we probably just could have had ours do a suicide rush west as soon as we saw with a minute and a half left that East had lost. Mid, I think we should have just sent more of our mid East, even if it were one fetch or a couple morts, or looks like we've got 1, 2, 3 Zerks still left over. Those 3 Zerks probably could have been over here. In general, I think most people agree, other than Limp, who thinks that people just don't understand the meta. That Flag Rally or CTF or King of the map would probably be better on this particular mesh. But I'm looking forward to having the chance to play that. This was really the last meaningful match. I don't know that I'll do a review on the last one. If I do, it'll just be to make fun of Clank for getting exploded. But this actually sealed it. It was 3-1 at this point for our friends over on the hot side. Good job, well played. I think MVP of the match, definitely Asmo. Like I said, came down to ours versus H&P, which was a stalemate. Blade versus Asmo, again, there's a little magic darting. It was just an unfortunate engagement. Definitely would have taken the fight. I got to say, as Blade and I talked about after the game, it's tempting, and if he's able to win that fight, he gets this flag, and the story is basically exactly the same. It's just flipped. So least close of all the 3 games, I think, or 4 games so far. Along with Myopia, I would say that strategy had less to do with the outcome. Whereas, for those first couple, we really got to see some innovative strategy in 2020, which was awesome. So fun games. If you guys like these, I'll do more, for the bottom bracket finals and also for, the top bracket finals, which hopefully I'm in, or finals, I should say. But if not, I'm still happy to review or potentially cast the BA versus HOTS games. Anyway, thanks for watching, and tune into the next Karma and Clank event.